This is the Bucks POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Bucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
No Giannis and, well, simply no chance in this one as the Bucks, if you had any good vibes after the win against the Utah Jazz, they are wiped clean after a 39-point loss. Yes, you heard that correctly. 130-91. The Bucks lose to the Orlando Magic, now 27-36 on the season. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Locked On Bucks postcast. I'm your host. My name is Brandon Sneide, joined alongside by the Wisconsin Badger legend himself, Mr. Brian Butch. We will get into this ugly loss for the Bucks, what it means going forward, if it means anything, quite frankly. We'll dive into that, of course. We'll give you our turning points in the loss, and yes, we will give
There's a turning point? There was a turning point?
Yes, Butchie. Spoiler alert, when the ball tipped off, apparently, is the turning point. We'll get into that. We'll hand out the Locked On Bucks postcast player of the game.
There was one of those too.
We'll make it one of those. We make the rules on this show. We make the rules.
Sometimes you got to have fun. When it's ugly, sometimes you just have to have fun. I think that might be the motto tonight is we're going to have some fun with this because, Brandon, this thing was over from the start.
It certainly felt that way. We'll get into that. Just quick friendly reminder, wherever you guys get audio podcasts, don't forget you can get Locked On Bucks postcasts as well. Amazon, Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get podcasts, you can get the Locked On Bucks postcast. We're also available over on YouTube where we are live right now. Make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Bucks YouTube channel. Get great stuff from Camille Davis all week long, Frank Madden, Justin Garcia, all a part of that. We are just the extra post-game edition for the Locked On Bucks, but also make sure you hit the thumbs up on our video. I know the Bucks didn't do good tonight, but please smash that thumbs up and hit that notification bell. Make sure you are always notified when the Locked On Bucks goes live, and we are live right now, Butchie, from tip. It may have been over, Butchie, from tip.
Well, hey, I'm going to tell you this, and I mean this in all honesty. The game was over with yesterday when Giannis played. Because you brought
that up. You brought that up last night.
Like they weren't going to play him in a back-to-back. I would have been shocked if they played him in a back-to-back. So why do you play him against the Jazz?
By the way, the final score doesn't say that the Bucks struggled in that game. That was a struggle. That wasn't a pretty victory for the Bucks.
So it is what it is. But you know, like here's the difference. That's a half game battle. Tonight is a full game battle.
Yeah.
When you talk about what you're trying to do for seeding, and I know we're talking seeding now, we should probably talk tankathon again with this performance, but I don't understand that. Like when I looked at this last night, we talked about it, and it was one of those where I'm like, well, why did they play him? They're probably not going to play him in a back-to-back. Why would you use the one game up against the Jazz? And which again, when I say half game, just for everyone that doesn't know, like you're not different conference. So when you talk about what that could do and how that plays out, but you can gain a game on the 6th seed Orlando Magic.
Sure.
And now all of a sudden, if there's a slide, like it has a bigger impact because they're in your, side of the, as far as the conference goes, and you can get one up there. And so to me, I don't get it. I don't get that part of it. I don't get that philosophy organizationally, why that was the right game to sit him out.
Not only did he not play, Butchie, to your point, no Kevin Porter Jr. once again. Which
we expect. I mean, that one we expect.
No Kyle Kuzma in this one. No Kyle Kuzma as well for the Bucks. So, the Bucks went big yesterday with their starting lineup. They carried that over today. AJ Green back in the starting lineup, 4 points in 28 minutes. And AJ Green, for what it's worth, the last chunk of garbage time, AJ Green was on the court. So that kind of tells you what the Bucks, not only, I don't think they think less of him, but they're trying to get him going. Jericho Sims inserted into the starting lineup as well for the Bucks. Those were your two changes as Giannis and Kevin Porter Jr. not available in this one. And obviously, as we mentioned, no Kyle Kuzma in this one. It is again, but this is just, I mean, Butchie put another notch in the belt for Doc Rivers' coaching malpractice. Well, is that when you have a game when you potentially could have won against the Utah Jazz. I think the Bucks probably would have had you rested Kyle Kuzma, had you rested Giannis. Oh, by the way, you also have an off day on Monday. So you can, if you're worried about playing them on Sunday and maybe another game, coming up early in the week, like you have a day in there in between before you host the Phoenix Suns, which is also going to be, to your point, a Western Conference opponent, but a good opponent. And you're going to want your horses in that one as well, because every win from here on out is vital for the Milwaukee Bucks. You're 9 games back from 500. You're 4. Charlotte just tipped off against Phoenix, so we'll see what happens as they are in the 10 seed right now. But yeah, I mean, it feels like you're just chasing, an endless, chase here, because I just don't see where or what the reasoning is with this Milwaukee Bucks rotation, with their offense, defense. Like nothing seems to be going in.
Well, and here's the thing. You like to do these postcasts because, okay, we can break down the game and, hey, the side pick and roll didn't work here and there's this, but we haven't really got into that a whole lot. It's more been, what are we doing rotationally? What are we doing system wise? What is in play? Here's my thing. I do a lot of college basketball. I do it for TV. I do it for radio. I call close to probably 45 games a year. So different game, different flow. I get that. But I just called a game where Wisconsin's big man, who was averaging 14 and 9 a game, didn't play. And Wisconsin goes on the road and wins at Purdue. Now, if you're a basketball guy, you're a basketball guy. I know there's not, but the systems are in place for that team to overcome when somebody with that magnitude does not play as a basketball guy. The systems are not in place for this Bucks team to overcome any sort of change that throws them off. There's not to me, simplify the offense. Make it really, really vanilla. Simplify the defense. Make it, but there's none of that. There are no systems. There are no next guy up. It's more of a, let's throw it against the wall and see what happens. And I think that's the frustrating, for me at least, is, again, Cam Thomas, 20 minutes. If you're going to be out all those guys, why do you not see what he has? I mean,
why is AJ Green getting 8 more minutes, Butchie? I mean, at least Cam Thomas gave you some spark off the bench scoring. At least he gave you 17, 7 to 12 from the field. I know Bucks fans don't like him because for whatever reason he doesn't play defense. Like Doc Rivers said, he wasn't brought here to play defense.
Correct. I mean,
you need somebody to score the basketball.
Like 17.6 assists. Now defensively, but that goes back to my systems, Brandon. You should put in a system that is able to help cover up the liability on the defensive end. Every basketball team I've been on. And the reason I know it is because I was the liability a lot of the time. So you were able to then shade guys to me. So I'm hearing in my ear, force this way, force this way. Well, I'm forcing that way because there's 3 guys loaded up, and when I do get blown by, there's nowhere for that guy to go to. Now, if I don't force that way, then that's when I get taken out and say, what in the hell are you doing? We have all the help side loaded to you. You got to come out of the game because you can't even follow the game plan. But what's the game plan? Where's that to me is the concerning part of this. That's the frustrating part. This performance, you got embarrassed.
39-point loss tonight. And don't pity me if you're a Bucks fan and be like, well, we didn't have Giannis. We didn't have Kyle Kuzma. We didn't have who else was Kevin Porter Jr. The Orlando Magic didn't have a plethora of their guys either. Jonathan Isaac was ruled out. Anthony Black was ruled out. Franz Wagner hasn't played in a couple of weeks. So they weren't healthy either. And I know none of those guys are on the level of Giannis.
Back-to-backs.
Both teams played last night. Yeah. And in Orlando's defense, they traveled. It wasn't a big travel.
It wasn't a big travel, but they got in. They played earlier. They got in probably they probably got in before Milwaukee's games finished yesterday.
Right.
But still.
But there's no excuse. And again, if you're Orlando, they're in the 6th seed. They're trying to keep, pace in the East and get out of that, stay out of that play-in. But they're also on a second leg of a back-to-back on the road. And you're the Bucks. Again, you have to scratch, crawl, whatever it is you have to do in order to maintain at least some sort of pace late in the back half of the play-in tournament, if that's what the aspirations are. It's obviously what we're at now at this point at 27-36 on the season, but it doesn't look like there's any of that, Butchie, when they start these games. I mean, tonight, and we'll get into the turning point and we can get our jokes off then, but 15 points, Butchie, in the first quarter, 15 points in the first quarter, 1 from 8 from 3-point range in the first quarter. So yeah, I mean, obviously shots, you got to hit your shots, but this is where it comes back to the Bucks. And again, a different starting lineup. Once again, as we mentioned the injuries, the 24th different starting lineup tonight for the Bucks. But like, there's got to be opportunities I still think that this team is just more talented than the product we're seeing on the court. I understand Miles Turner isn't a fan favorite right now. I understand Ryan Rollins is a very hot topic in the YouTube live chat. Maybe we can address that later on. I still think
I'll
there's
make
more.
A turning point quick. I'll make a player of the game quick. I'd rather touch on Ryan Rollins a little bit because I do think there's some validity to some of this as well.
We'll get into that, but I do think there's more talent on this team than 15 points, Butchie, in the first quarter. Like, that's what you come out of the gates in your home crowd. This is the largest homestand for the Milwaukee Bucks. They have 9 over their last 10. We're at Pfizer Forum. They'll finish up Tuesday against the Phoenix Suns. And you've won 3 of them so far. Like, this was your moment where you had momentum built into the All-Star break, coming out of the All-Star break. Then you have the idea of Giannis coming back, and you fall flat on your face. I mean, say what you want about what I think I titled one of our shows, or I had it on the rundown saying missed opportunity or wasted chance, and fans were making fun of it. And I'm like, it was at one point. It still was. Like, you win 8 out of 10 and you're getting Giannis back. Don't, like, everybody in that locker room had the same message to the media. Like, there's still hope here to get this thing turned around. But I mean, now it's pretty much gone.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. I mean, it pretty much is. Now the conversation becomes, as I said, why is Giannis even playing?
That's a conversation we'll have. And the Ryan Rollins conversation, I want to dive in to the Ryan Rollins conversation that Bucks fans seem to be having. We'll get into that. We'll get quickly into the turning point and our Locked On Bucks postcast player of the game coming up right after this. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. March is a time to celebrate women, especially around International Women's Day, and to recognize just how much they carry at work, in relationships, in families, and in all the unseen roles they step into every single day. It's easy to celebrate that strength, but it's just as important to make space for their emotional well-being. And honestly, that kind of goes for all of us. I think about my mom, my wife, my sister, and how much they carry without always saying so. And it makes me think, how many of us are doing the exact same thing? The roles we play, the expectations we carry, the pressure we don't always talk about. Therapy can help with all of that, creating balance, setting healthy boundaries, and supporting your overall well-being. With over 30,000 licensed therapists and more than 6 million people served worldwide, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, and it works. Fill out a short questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA. That's BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA. Tonight's show is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night, from early tip-offs to those late-night West Coast shootouts. There's always action on the board. And right now, FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into an even bigger potential win with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can mix spreads, you can mix totals, and even player props to match how you see the slate playing out. Then you can apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season long. It is your parlay. It is your style, now with just more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com today to get started. FanDuel, play your game. And lastly, tonight's Locked On Bucks postcast is brought to you by Indeed-sponsored jobs. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inboxes overflowing in the one position you have to fill. is still sitting there open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. They help you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, the skills, the experience, the location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that sort of sums everything up. In the minute or so I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this very show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just head to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support the Locked On Bucks show by saying you heard about it on this very podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions do apply. If you need to hire, this sounds like a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Thank you for making Locked On Bucks your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. A 130-91 loss for the Bucks, now 27-36 as they fall to the Orlando Magic. And this one, from start to finish, wasn't pretty. Let's get into our turning points in the Bucks loss.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
All right, Butchie, I think we'll probably have nearing the same one, but I'll let you have the first crack at your turning point in the 39-point loss tonight for the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you necessarily a turning point. I'm going to give you a stat that turned over the game, or if that's fair, okay? Because the turning point, there was zero lead changes, 0 times it was tied. They were like, I mean, we could easily say, but it was 25. They're down by 10 in the first quarter, and at no point did I feel confident they were going to come back from that ever. But to me, it was the fast break points. They let Orlando get 22 of them. Milwaukee got 3.
Brutal.
Like that to me is a turning point in the game. Now there's I can't say normally we do this. We say, hey, with 3 minutes left in the second quarter or whatever that might be. I mean, there was runs throughout the entire time. There was 12-3 runs. There was 10-3 ones. There were 11. Like there was a bunch of those you could pick from. But overall, when you're not in a game and it's a 39-point loss, I'm gonna pick a stat that's so glaringly obvious. 22-3 in fast break. And that's what I mean by systems in place. I talked about it earlier, Brandon. But if you're shorthanded, you have to make sure you get 2 back. And if you get that, then get 3 back. Say, we're not offensive rebounding tonight. We don't care. We're not going to get it. We're shorthanded. We're going to shoot. We're going to build a wall, and we're going to make Orlando find a way to beat us in the half court. They didn't do that. They give up 22-3. So to me, it's that number. And I know I'm twisting it there a little bit, but that to me is a moment because I didn't think at any point they were ever in this game.
No, I mean, out-rebounded once again in this one. Didn't move the ball either. 31 assists for Orlando, 22 for Milwaukee. The Bucks losing the turnover battle. Once again, same song, different dance for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'll make mine quick. You could point to the first quarter. That's an honorable mention for me in this one. You're outscored by 10 in the first quarter. Orlando setting the tone. The Bucks only scoring 15 points in that first quarter. But for me, the third quarter, Butchie, I mean, you're outscored 33-15. The Bucks only scored 10 points in the first 10 minutes of the third quarter. And here's the other thing, Butchie, that we talked about. I believe it was last weekend at some point. These games are all kind of mushing together a little bit. The Bucks scored 36 points in the second half. 36 points in the second half. On average, league-wide, on average,
Wednesday's game. I want to say.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. At league average, it's 56. Like league-wide, not just the best teams in the West or the best in the East. It is all the teams, including the teams that are tanking. The team you saw last night at the Utah Jazz. On league average, it's 56. The Bucks scored 36 in the second half. 15 in the third quarter. So you could look at the first quarter and obviously the third quarter as those two quarters, being able to only combine for 30 points for the Bucks would definitely spell their doom tonight. They fall 130-91. Ugly game, Butchie, but let's do it. Let's have some fun. Who's your Locked On Bucks postcast player of the game? Let's get into it.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
guessing it's not going to be anybody that resides in Milwaukee tonight, Butchie, but I've been wrong before with you. So who do you got for your honors tonight?
I think Banchero, when you look at what he did, obviously 33, 5, and 3, he was elite from the beginning, did what he needed to do on the Bucks side. I'm going to go Cam Thomas, and just because I thought he brought some good stuff, like defensively, whatever. You know what that is. I think that's more coaching to put him in situations. You know what the weaknesses are. But to play 20 minutes and give you 17 and 6 assists, like that's some pretty good stuff. But those are my two, I guess.
I'm with you on that. I literally had both of them written down. Paolo Banchero is just a stud and what he does. I love the way that he plays, and Cam Thomas was going to give my honorable mention, 17 and 20 and 7 to 12 from the field. And I think 2 or 3 of those, might be exaggerating a little bit. At least one or two of them were late second, last second or two on the shot clock, and he's heaving it up from 40 feet. So I'm going to go the same as you. I know somebody who's not, Butchie, getting the Locked On Bucks postcast player of the game, and it's somebody that we are running into comment after comment after comment on the Locked On Bucks postcast. And I just want to gather for the last few minutes here your thoughts on Ryan Rollins, who will likely finish, if he doesn't win the most improved award this year, he'll definitely be in the conversation as the top 2 or 3. 15 points in 23 minutes tonight, just 5 of 12 from the field. The issue, I know, with a lot of Bucks fans and reading their comments, reading their reactions after this one, are the turnovers for Ryan Rollins. Just give us a quick, 2 or 3 minutes, your thoughts on the individual play from Ryan Rollins.
Yeah, I think this is the thing. He's young still. Now he's been given the keys with the injuries, and now all of a sudden you expect him to really develop. Now he's developed, and I think a lot of that is the assistants that are there, right? Mainly Rondo and what he's been able to do. I think that's a big part of that. But to me, like I just think that the takeoff, we'll use it that the takeoff is so wide that he has been asked to do a lot more and is not necessarily put in his box yet, as far as this is what you do really well. Stay within those 4 lines, stay within your box, and now all of a sudden you're going to really bloom. I think it's so wide that he's trying to do way too much, and a lot of that's the over dribbling, which creates the turnovers. But he's asked to do way too much in a role that he shouldn't really be in. Ryan Rollins is a great backup point guard.
Mm-hmm.
A great backup point guard. Is Ryan Rollins a starter?
I don't think so.
Can he develop into a starter? Yes. Is he, great example. Who is he? Peyton Pritchard. Like, know a role. Come on in. Do some things like that. But Peyton's been in the league forever. He's kind of now, they'll throw some stuff in there. They'll do some stuff, but it's not like it's that. Like, that's Ryan Rollins. But he's been asked to do way too much. And now his box, like I like to say, because so many NBA coaches told him, hey, Butchie, stay in your box, man. Rebound the ball, shoot the ball. That's it. Like, don't try to do anything else. But it's so true. Like, it was so true. And when I did that, then I ended up getting a 10-day or an end of the season call up to the Denver Nuggets. Like, there was a reason. I figured it out. I don't need to do anything else, nor should I be doing anything else. I don't know how much of those conversations are happening with Ryan Rollins, because at times the Bucks need him to do more than he should be doing.
Yeah.
So the systems that are in place, again, and it's today the word of the day will be systems, because we've used it a lot, but the systems in place are not making this young player the development wise that, is ideal to have the great, the great trajectory that should be ahead of him, I guess. By no means do I say that he can't be an elite player. There's still development that needs to happen. And I think he's been put in a tough spot.
Yeah, and I think Rondo has been good for him, right? From the coaching perspective, being able to be, I think he's worked with him well. I think if you're looking at from what you saw last year, and I know he was dealing, I think it was a dislocated shoulder. It was something with his shoulder. I think it was his left shoulder. Kind of all season long, he decided to play through it, had it worked on in the offseason, and was able to obviously come back this year. But to your point, and I'm not going to say anything that you haven't said, it's just been inconsistency. Like where he, again, put Ryan Rollins in line with everybody else. Nobody knows what their role is. Nobody knows what their goal of the night is. What is it that they have? What box is it that they have to check? I'll put Miles Turner in that. I don't care what Bucks fans say. I think Miles Turner is simply a better player than what we've seen under Doc Rivers in Milwaukee. You can blame Doc, blame whoever, blame Miles Turner if you want. I just think there's a better player there because I've seen him be a better player in Indiana for many, many years, for a decade at least, and kind of torch the Milwaukee Bucks there. So, in spurts, Kyle Kuzma, we played great last night. Didn't play a couple nights before that. Like, to everybody's defense on this roster, I'm biased, Butchie. Maybe I have the homer glasses on a little bit too tight. I just feel like this roster as a totality is much more talented than the outcomes that we've seen this season. And who does that fall on? I think we would all agree it's one person. I just think there's too much talent on this roster to be 9 games under 500. Now there are injuries. There are obviously
They've
Kevin,
got a lot of them. Yes.
Giannis he missed 2 stints this season alone. Obviously Kevin Porter Jr. also now missing 2 stints this season. And you're obviously battling with, who's in, who's not. Usman and Cam are late additions. Maybe I'm crazy, man. And maybe you can tell me I'm crazy and I have thick skin, but I feel like Doc Rivers has ruined this team. He's slowly ruining the organization as far as development and the mindset that this organization used to have when guys would come in here and it would be different. It would feel different. And we're not seeing that. We're getting inconsistent minutes from players. We're getting some not even getting minutes. We're not getting any easy baskets on offense. We have no idea what we're doing on defense. I hate to be the guy that sits behind a microphone and blames the head coach because that's usually a lazy argument to be made. But I'm sorry, man. I throw my hands up. This is a better team than what we've seen. Yeah,
no, I think you're spot on with it. And like I said, for me, a lot of it just becomes tonight's a great example of it. You're not losing the game by 39 points. You still have to have a standard of this is what our DNA is. I don't know if they know what the DNA is.
Correct. Systems, the word of the day, as the Bucks fall 130-91, 27-36 on the season. They will welcome in the Phoenix Suns on Tuesday night, and that is when you can catch us next here on the Locked On Bucks postcast. That'll do it for tonight. My thanks to each and every one of you. A 39-point loss, and all of you came in to tune in to the Locked On Bucks postcast. My thanks to each and every single one of you. Very, very much appreciate each and every single one of you. We will do it again on Tuesday. If you missed any part of the show, or if you missed any postcast for that matter, we are also a podcast. You can go back and listen. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get podcasts, you can get the Locked On Bucks postcast as well. And over on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button to the Locked On Bucks YouTube channel. Make sure you smash that thumbs up and make sure that notification bell is clicked at the top of the page. Get notified when we go live. And I mentioned it already, we will go live Tuesday after the Bucks take on the Phoenix Suns. A 130-91 ugly loss for the Bucks, but win or lose, make sure you all stay locked on Bucks.